And welcome back everyone, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, the hardest career series. Today's episode we're going to be test flying the Hawkk once again. In the previous episode we had a few problems with it, a few issues, which was reducing its performance. I'm happy to say, a little bit of troubleshooting. We got rid of the control surface in the wings basically, that was causing far too much drag, and we replaced them with composites. So that's the stock wing parts. Alright, so we're going to head to the runway straight away. We're going to have a test, first of all, the J21 equipped Hawkk. Jeb will be flying that. Then Valentina's going to take up the J404, the Panther equipped Hawkk. And finally Ray will be flying the final version, which is the D30F7 equipped Hawkk. Okay, so the J21 equipped Hawkk. You can see we're leaving from the desert airfield this time, rather than risking crashing into one of the buildings like the K22 almost did, which was a little bit dangerous. Okay, reheat is on. Okay, we've got the composite wings, as I said. So we've got air brakes on the centre, so these two pieces here. Pitch control, obviously, as always. And roll on here. Okay, here we go. Three, two, one, pull back. Now, as we know, the J21 is rather poor performing without its reheat. You can see not even 112 meters a second. But luckily, we can throttle it using the reheat mode as well. So it doesn't mean you have to have it at full throttle. But 100 meters a second will start to stall. So we'll climb to about 5 kilometers. Not too quickly, Jeb, thank you very much. Switch the lights off. Now we should have KSC. 720, we'll say 730 kilometers away. So see how far we can get back. I don't think we'll have the fuel to make it all. We have got 3,000 seconds. So that's not too bad. So I think what we'll do, maneuverability and everything else we can check first of all. And once we have, we'll use a Kramax autopilot. We head back to KSC. See how quickly we can make it. If we don't, then we just have to splash it down in the middle of the ocean. Okay, so just throttle back to stop us going through the sound barrier too early. We're at 6 kilometers. We're just coming to 90. So just about to head east towards KSC, or roughly towards KSC. So as we're level, we'll hold the wings level, and then we'll try a speed run. I'm not expecting to get fantastic performance from this, but this is the I would say the lowest power, at least dry thrust, it's the lowest power. It's actually one of the most powerful engines that are in the array, as in the list, including the future engines as well, but only with reheat. With reheat on, it's nowhere near as effective as far as flight time. What's it? Guzzles fuel. Consumes fuel at an accelerated rate compared to the other engines, which are actually moderately more powerful for their size. Okay, so here we go. Straight on level. Okay, put full throttle on you. 3, 2, 1. We'll hold the wings level. Okay, Mach 0.8. Point 9. You'll find that the engine will actually drop off in power. And then it'll start to increase in power once you reach Mach 1 plus, just over Mach 1. So watch the power level. 47.8 kilonewtons. You won't see that move for much. Not by much. Until we get about Mach 1.2. Then it should start to increase. Should do. 305. See it creep up slightly in airspeed. Once we get above a certain level, it should start. We'll see again at 6 kilometers. We're not too high at 6 kilometers, so it could be getting more drag than we actually should be. That's Mach 1, 306.1. Not seeing any atmospheric effects at all. 302. Okay, we're a little bit higher. Increase altitude to try and reduce the drag. But it could reduce the amount of power we get from the engine as well. We'll go up to, we'll go as quickly as we can. Up to 7 kilometers. Once we're at 7 kilometers, we'll try that again. Okay, so it's 7 kilometers. We're still at full throttle. Reheat. Now, of course, this engine does have a red line of Mach 1.5, which I forgot to mention. So we might not get a great deal of speed out of it, much over Mach 1. But we have got a lot of fuel. 3,400. That's about... Wow, that is a lot. It's actually a lot of fuel. Okay, we'll give it a little bit more time. 46.7. That should be more than enough to about to push us over Mach 1. .7. Yep, 302.1. So go again up to about 10 kilometers. We'll go to 10 kilometers and we'll check the engine then for the final time. Looks as if this engine is limited to about Mach 1.5 at absolute maximum. And that's what it said on the Kerbal Engineering Redux readout in the aircraft hangar as well. So we shall try for last time for the speed test. So we get over Mach 1 at 10 kilometers. Okay, so well, it would appear that the J21 is what I expected. It's the weakest of the three. It's about Mach 1 at about moderate 3 kilometers, between 3 and 5 kilometers, it's fine, but any higher, it loses a lot of power. It reduces drag, obviously the higher you go, but it just reduces the thrust a little bit too much. For some reason. We are rather heavy, but it shouldn't cause a problem. 0.72 is our TWR. That shouldn't really cause such an issue. Okay. That's the first one, that's J2 one, so that's Jeb's flight over and done with. We'll head back to the desert airfield. We're about 20 minutes away, so we'll head back, we'll land, recover Jeb, then we'll let Val take out the J404 equipped Hawk and see how that performs. Okay, so we're back out at the desert airfield with Valentina this time. This is the J404, otherwise known as the Panther. On paper this should be the best performing engine, but we shall have to see. Okay, once again, just like before, we'll head to about 6 kilometers and do the first speed run, heading eastwards towards the KSC. KSS is on. Dry thrust. Bit of reheat, just give it a bit of a kick. Shouldn't have an issue getting off the runway. Okay, airspeed active. Rotate. Gear up. Then nose down a little bit. My airspeed build up a little bit more. Yeah, as you can see, I mean, this is a lot more powerful than J21. J21 seems to be, it seems like it wants to be fitted in pairs at least to overcome its low TWR or low kilonewton generation at low speed. Okay. Reheat on. Turn those lights off. Yeah, it's a lot sharp on the controls as well, because I believe this engine has got, it lets me select it. Yes, it's got gimballing. I'm going to turn that off. We don't want to be doing that. We don't want to be going into kicking ourselves into a stall, going down tail first. Okay, just pushing those back down. Reheat off. Okay, so KSC is over to the east again. So we'll head towards KSC, we'll head to 6 kilometers. Once we're at 90 degrees and 6 kilometers, we shall begin the speed test. Just about to break the sound barrier. There we go, Mach 1. You see it's slowed right down now. Should start to pick up if my calculations are correct. That's about Mach 1.2 or so. It also might be better at higher altitude as well. Okay, it does take a while. Probably be easier to, quicker. Maybe 8 kilometers or so, but we'll leave it at 6 kilometers. Let's accelerate past Mach 1. Okay, I've given it a while. We'll head up to we'll go up to about 10 kilometers where the air is a lot thinner. You can see accelerating there now. So we'll see a little bit too much drag in lower part of the atmosphere. And as I said, 6 kilometers isn't very high, but for these early turbo fan engines and the reheat equipped ones, it's a little bit low. A little bit too low maybe. Okay, we'll head up to 10 kilometers. Although we'll pause on the way about 7 kilometers, then 8 kilometers, 9 and 10 and so on. We'll see how it performs at different altitudes. That will find out exactly where the nominal altitude for the engines to operate at. Okay, it would appear that it still will not take us much beyond Mach 1. So again, we're going to head up to 8 kilometers. We've got quite a lot of fuel on board though. So up to 8 kilometers, we'll level off there and then we'll try again. Okay, so that's a failure of this engine at 8 kilometers. Heading up to 9 kilometers. Not looking very promising, to be perfectly honest. 293.8. See what the TWR is. 0.81. Shouldn't really be the issue. It says 0.78 there. Okay, 41.53 kilonewtons and it's dropping. Which isn't too bad. I know full well it is not the aircraft, it's not the wings themselves or anything like that anymore, because we've checked those. It is rather disappointing. We've got one more engine to test after this. We'll head to about 9 kilometers. Do one more flatline run at 9 kilometers, then we'll try 10. Then we'll see. Okay, level out about 9 kilometers, just over. Okay, down to 10. Okay, about there. Okay, we do know aerodynamically that the aircraft is sound. It can do Mach 2 plus. But it would appear that the engines aren't capable of pushing it. At least not by themselves. Maybe in twins. Perhaps the Intercept in the next episode we try. With its 2 engines. May have better luck. So we'll try this. Give it a few moments. Doesn't work out, we'll head to 10 kilometers and try it at that altitude. Okay, so no look at the high altitude, or high altitude for these engines anyway. Head back down to about 6 kilometers. Let's see what performance we get out of it. If we leave it long enough, maybe it might just tip over Mach 1. No, straight away we're losing airspeed. Okay, I'm thinking maybe, as I said already, 2 of these on the aircraft may be nominal, because they do weigh quite a lot. This is the engine we needed to rescale. The other two not quite so much. 51.5 kilonewtons. I know full well in a dive this actually increases. So we know speed increases the kilonewtons, which is obvious. It's as to whether it's got enough TWR to push your aircraft over that sticking point. It doesn't look like this has. Not quite. We did have about what was it, about 50 minutes worth of fuel at reheat, which is unusual. Normally it should be about 20 minutes, so we could be carrying too much fuel, or the structure itself maybe weighs too much, we've got too much mass. Well, TWR count seems to be okay. 1.09. Not quite enough to push against our drag though. Okay, disappointing, but not surprising looking at the power curve of the engine itself, especially after it is reskilled. Okay, so we've got the next one to test, which is the D30F7, and Race will be taking the Hawk out with that. Okay, so the final test flight for the Hawk with Ray at the desert launch site and runway. Okay, hopefully we get a better performance level from this engine. If we don't, what to say about doing something about these wings? Yeah, wings are quite large, quite long, because there's quite a wide stance when it comes to wingspan, so maybe that could be the issue. But we shall see what happens with this engine. SS on, full throttle. Dry thrust for now. Okay, we might struggle. Reheat on. Okay. Turn the lights off for now. And the aircraft itself is nice and stable. No input controls whatsoever. Okay, we're going a little bit too fast now. And I forgot to rename it again. I keep forgetting to do this. In the hangar. If you don't do that, you don't get your Mach readouts here. As I explained before, previous episode. Okay, Mach 0.8. Don't know what happened there. Yeah, another one that's dependent on its yeah, it's not as dependent as the J21, but it's about the same as the J404. It's heading. Oh, no, 90. Am I thinking of? And we'll keep climbing. Oh, we'll keep it level. For now. So we'll start our speed runs. Oh no. Engine failure. Okay, level the wings. What did we have? I suffered a none. No, it suffered an entire failure. Oh, great. Oh dear me. That was actually going quite well as well. Okay, never mind. Okay, make an emergency landing. If it looks like it's too rough, we'll just eject him. Okay, so we're back at the desert airfield. It's now daylight. It's about a day later. Back with Rayson. Engine is running. Hopefully they'll get a flame out this time. Okay, here we go. Full throttle, brakes off. Quite promising before we had the engine failure. Okay, reheat on. Yeah, could just be a little bit longer on the fuselage. Or 100% pitch control, that would also help. Okay, just like before, we shall head towards KSC. Looks like we just exceeded Mach 1. And it's actually pretty convincingly, yeah, we've gone right past it. Well, 118.5, yet on paper, this engine should be as powerful as a Panther. And yet quite clearly it has an atmospheric curve which is superior. Okay, I think we can sort of throttle back a bit, Rayson. Don't want to burn the engine out now, do we? Fast you go low atmosphere, you tend to get overheating engines and then they go bang. And that's not a very good thing. Okay, we'll head up to about 6 kilometres. We'll also head towards the KSC. Once we're at nominal altitude, we shall begin the speed test. Okay, almost there. You should reheat a couple of times on the climb. It's not too bad under about 4.5–5 kilometres with just dry heat, but once it's above 5 kilometres it does start to lose power. At least in the climb anyway. So on dry thrust, yeah, there we go. So it's starting to come down. Airspeed, okay, power level, what is the kilonewtons? 21.4. Looks like it should be less capable. Well, because it weighs less than the other two engines, especially the Panther, when it's been reskilled, the Panthers do still weigh quite a fair bit more than these other two engines we've tested. Okay. With reheat goes up to 68.70. That's the difference. As opposed to the 45, 50 or so kilonewtons of the Panther. I can love the hold the wings level. Okay, Mach 1. So that's the secret. It's the power level at Mach. It's just under sub-Mach speed. A little bit more power, or less drag. Like I said, the wings are quite straight. Don't exactly swept back really all that much. It's quite a large wing area for such a small aircraft. Okay, so this is the F7, D30 F7. Transonic area under Mach 1 and just slightly over Mach 1. It does tend to slow down its power curve, but as it starts to pick up speed, it should start to pick up kilonewtons as well. Ideally, at least. I've got well over 20 minutes worth of fuel as well. Also, you want to see as you exceed Mach 1, you want to see those kilonewtons still increasing. If they stop increasing, or especially the decrease, then you are basically at the top end of the engine's performance. Okay, Mach 1.1. 1.2. Airspeed is still increasing. Thrust is still increasing as well. Starting to accelerate a little bit more actually. Yeah. Starting to accelerate in its power curve again. Mach 1.2. We'll check the engine at 10 kilometers as well, just to make it fair. Looks like this engine is definitely beating the other two. Even though on paper, at sea level, you would think, well, 20 something kilonewtons with dry thrust is not as high as the other two. But at speed it's a lot more powerful. Well, I do believe two of the other engines, each of those are two other engines, two of them on each aircraft, I do think they would perform better as well. Up to Mach 1.3 almost. Should start to see this really beginning to accelerate away. Okay, we'll leave it for... yeah, there we go. You can see it's starting to really tick up now. Starting to really push through those numbers. Mach 1.3. So it's about Mach 1.3 we start to see that kick up in power levels. Okay, we're fast approaching Mach 1.4. 114 up to 115 kilonewtons. Yeah. Yeah, we're starting to really motor through the figures now. Wow. Okay, yeah, here we go. Mach 1, top end of Mach 1.3, just under Mach 1.4. Well, it's really starting to accelerate now. Mach 1.4. 121, 122 kilonewtons. Okay, let's see how far this goes, shall we? Okay, Mach 2.1. Bring that window up again. Mach 2.2. We're going to get far too much atmospheric heating before long. Approaching 200 kilonewtons. 195 over. Damn. So another 10-15 kilonewtons on the other engines, especially the Panther, we might have got the same level of performance. Yeah, I think we better like pull back on that throttle a little bit, Racing. Okay, let's head up to 10 kilometers. And see what performs at altitude. Okay, thermal mass 802. Just passed. The whole skin of the aircraft is 703. That's what's being passed through convection. So the engine thermal mass is 630. Conductive flux, convex flux. Can't remember what the engine's maximum is. I don't know. We'll find out before long if we carry on accelerating like this. We're starting to get some heating here. Crew report. You think you'd get a crew report at close to Mach 3, wouldn't you? Okay, 80% throttle. We're just starting to slow right down to a stationary as far as acceleration goes. Mach 2.7. 80% throttle with reheat. That is pretty damn good. That is absolutely superb. So why can't the other two be as good as this one? Okay, as I said, I think the other two engines need to be in at least 2 engines on each aircraft you want to use those on. Overcomes the difference in thrust. Unfortunately, the Hawk is a single engine aircraft. We've got a double engine aircraft coming up in the next episode, and it's the Interceptor, as I showed you. Okay, let's see what we can get out of this. We might get an engine blowout. We might actually burn up. Mach 2.8. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we'll let him land, and we shall recover him. Okay, so that's Rayson. Rayson's taken the trophy for achieving Mach 2.9 in a jet aircraft for the first time. So our aircraft did actually have a slight accident on landing. It keeps rolling over. I don't think those rear bogies are slightly wide enough. They're slightly too narrow. That's fine. He got out alive. That's all that's important. If you can walk away from a landing, it's a good one. No experience and no new ribbons. I think maybe if he gets a Mk2 in a jet aircraft, might get some ribbons. Okay, so that's the... Let me just recap. So we've got the J21, which I think is a little bit anemic without the reheat. And with the reheat, it's very, very greedy. Same for the J404, a little bit anemic even with reheat. I think these two are better off in groups of 2. Or 4, maybe. J404 on the SST. That's the first one as far as I can remember. But the D30F7 engine takes the reward, takes the trophy for the at least the highest performing engine we've got so far. But as I said, these two seem to be needing to be fitted in pairs. Alright, that's the end of this episode. But coming in the next episode, we have the Interceptor. Again, 3 test flights. Jeb, Val, and once again, Rayson will be testing Interceptor D30F7. Val will be the 404 Panther. And Jeb will be first up with a J21. Alright, but that's the end of this episode. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to click like it is appreciated. Also, if you do enjoy the content, clicking that subscribe button is very much appreciated, as is sharing. Sharing does help the channel grow and is extremely appreciated. Also, if you wish to leave a comment, ask a question or a suggestion, you are more welcome to do so. However, please remember I do have a moderator team who go through the comments before they get to me, so it can take a while for them to get to me. I do try and get to everyone, but sometimes it's not quite possible. Right, don't forget we have Discord, Facebook and Twitter. You find links to all 3 of those platforms on the banner on the front page of the channel. Alright, once again, thank you for watching. Hope to see you in the next episode. In the meantime, as always, take care. Bye-bye.